last week we had a nice winning streak going. We were playing really good basketball, and unfortunately the last 10 minutes of the Georgia State game, we didn't play the way we had played during the streak, and we didn't make shots, and our defense really faltered us. So wound up losing, which was a tough one. But we turned around and got better in practice the last 2 days. And I think we beat a pretty good Bowling Green team yesterday. They've got some weapons and a good basketball team. They're in the middle of the conference there at the MAC, I think in 4th place. And it was a good win for us to get a new streak started. And it's all in front of us from here on. And we will make sure that we're ready to play Old Dominion on Thursday. And then we'll go to Boone and play a game there that should be a good one on Saturday afternoon.
How do you guys make sure you're up for Old Dominion? They've struggled this season. Coach is sick. Kicked off the leading score. How do you make sure your guys are focused on Old Dominion before trying to go after it?
Yeah, well, we watched Old Dominion on Saturday, and they lost to Central Michigan by 1, and crazy finish. They stole the ball, had a chance to win like twice, and then missed a shot, lost by 1, even missed a follow. But they've had their struggles. Coach Jones obviously has been sick, and he's battling cancer at this point. But they've got good guard play, and even losing the leading scorer in the league, I think, has helped them in some regard. And they're a dangerous team. And we respect all and fear none, but we'll be ready.
Seems like they've played a little better recently. Like any sense of what are they struggling with and that they're doing a little better?
Well, their guard play's outstanding. Their inside game's not as strong, and I think they don't have the experience there that they've had. Again, interim coach. Has done a good job with them. They did beat Marshall twice, so and I watched the game at Marshall, and they played extremely well down the stretch. And they blew Marshall out at home.
You mentioned kind of y'all probably have to win out to win the league, and so I guess it's kind of a double-pronged goal here. You want to be in the top 4, but you still would like to win the league, obviously. I mean, just talk about your mindset.
Well, we want to play for championships. I mean, we want to win the league. The Georgia State game was a major setback because that game took away one that we had to play with, basically. And we've got some tough games going into the stretch. 4 of the 6 are on the road. They're against really good teams outside of Old Dominion. As Dave said, their record doesn't indicate that. But App State's undefeated at home. They beat Toledo the other day. They beat Auburn. They beat James Madison. They've won all their home games. And that'll be a challenge there. And then go to Monroe, and we know how interesting those games can be up at Fant Ewing. And go to Southern Miss, a place that we are 1-1 the last couple of years. We got beat last year over there in a game that we felt like we needed to win the league. So they're all important. And you come home with Troy and Southern Miss again. So we want to win championships. That's our goal. I think the most important part, again, if you finish in the top 4 in a 14-team league, I mean, I think that's pretty solid. And we've done that quite a bit. And our goal is to do that again and give us a chance to win 3 games in the tournament versus 4. And you can look back, getting ahead of myself, to last year. We played 3 games. The year before we won our first 3 games, but we had to play that 4th game, and we were emotionally and physically drained at that time, from me to the players. So we want to get in the top 4. I feel confident we can do that. But last year, our final 6 games, we went 3-3, and we lost 3 of 4 at Southern Miss, at Troy. We came home, beat Monroe, then we went to JMU and got beat, and then we beat Arkansas State and South Alabama at home to go undefeated. The Cajun Dome, get our momentum back, and go win 3 games in the tournament. So it's going to be a challenge, but I feel confident we can finish in the top 4 if we continue to play good basketball.
Obviously, 3-3 won't do that. What do you think it's going to do?
4-2, I think, will do it. and you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, there are a lot of we just got to avoid Marshall in a tie scenario, and then we got to beat Southern Miss, you know. But you know, you can look at Ken Palm and see all the projections for what they say today and who's going to win and who's going to finish second, third, and fourth. So you can look at that and see where we stand.
You mentioned about having 4 of the last 6 on the road. Obviously, like, how important is it to keep the composure that you guys had Sunday with the win that you got and carrying that over into these road games that you got coming up next?
Need to continue to play well and play with confidence and certainly make shots, play good defense, take good care of the ball. We did a lot of positive things yesterday and got some good play off our bench, which we were able to outscore those guys, 13-2 maybe at the half. And that was big for us. So just continue to do the things that we do. And we do feel confident. This is a close-knit group, and now's where the rubber hits the road. And this next month, it's time.
Sun Belt won 10 out of 12 this week in the challenge. What does that say for the conference?
Says that we did a good job. I was proud that we secured the belt, and good games up there, good games here. I think the free throw situation, you looked at that, Dan, the first time. I would think it's quite different this time around. We actually got one more than our opponent for the 5th time. I think Kevin noted, and so what is it? 20% of our games we've shot more free throws than our opponents, and we've won 8 of our last 9. Figure that out. So crazy, but
I thought the most encouraging thing about yesterday is Dean was playing well offensively. Obviously, he always says, you know, he's a distributor and he scores when he needs to, and yet getting consistent scoring out of him, I would think, you know, that's what got you to the NCAA tournament last year with him finishing at the rim. So just talk about him and his offensive game. What that could be.
yeah, well, going back to the beginning of the year, the second game at Toledo, he was our high scorer with 25. And in fact, he was leading the conference in scoring after the first week of games. He slowed down a little bit, and then, but has been playing fine. He's averaging, 10 points and 4 assists or so, and that's what we need. I want the assists to come up. But as long as he takes good shots, he really helps us offensively. And I've been hard on him the last couple of weeks because he's turned the ball over too much. And, I had 4 a couple times. He 2 a couple times. He can't do that. So we've yesterday was much better taking care of the ball. He shot shots off 2 feet, pump fake. He's using the glass more. He wants to get to the basket, and he's running into length and a second body a lot of the time, and he's struggling there. So we've encouraged him to play off 2 feet. He's continued to make his free throws pretty good this year. We're excited about that. And then his three-point shooting has improved. You hadn't seen it lately, but it's improved. And hopefully we get in an elimination game like in the tournament, and he can make 3 threes like he did against South Al.
Can you talk a little bit about your conversions after the steals? I've noticed you guys get a great steal, then taking it back the other direction, doesn't seem to convert at the end. What are you guys doing to maybe improve that?
Well, yesterday in transition, we weren't as good. We were fantastic in the half court. I think we had our highest score of the year on our analytics page, offensively and defensively. But we did not convert in transition the way we need to, and we just got to do a better job there. We got to finish. I mean, it's about attacking the basket, getting the free throw line. If it's a 2-on-1, we pitched it ahead a couple times yesterday and shot a 1-on-3 3-point shot. And I'm not against that either when Kentrell Garnett's shooting it or Kobe or Joe, any of our guys really. But it eliminates the chance for a offensive rebound for the most part because the floor is spread. But good question.
So a couple of coaches are down. Coach Jones from ODU and Jay Ladner from Southern Miss. We had tragedy a few years back. These are really stressful emotional jobs. How do you handle your health and your stress, knowing how important it is to do well, but at the same time, you want to be able to do it?
Well, it's a concern. I guess I've had some issues with my back recently, and feeling a lot better now. But I guess it was before one of the recent games, and Jay and I were doing a pregame show, and we finished, and he asked me, he said, how do you feel? I said, I feel good. You know, my back's better. And he goes, no. How do you feel? And mentioned about Jay Ladner. And it's always a concern. Jay's a personal friend. Jeff Jones, personal friend. I've reached out to both those guys. It's always scary, you know, the emotions that you can run through. But I feel solid in my health, Dave. I think that we try to slow down a little bit, you know, pray, meditate, you know, try to stay healthy. It's hard to work out, especially when you have a bad back. You can't even walk. But just try to take care of myself, eat right, you know, no alcohol, that kind of stuff.